Mic test. Ooh, looks a little bit hot there. What's going on, y'all? We'll be starting here shortly. Let me know how that mic sounds, please, if you're in the chat. Ooh, what's going on, y'all? Happy Friday. It's Z-Rex. We're live a little late today. It's 1 o'clock, May 12th of 2023. I hope your week was awesome. Hope you got some fun plans for the weekend. Let's get into some price action. There's plenty of selling pressure today, it looks like. Kind of just a little bit red across the board. Even the top traded, almost everything is red today. Wonder if that even holds true over here. Let's look real fast. Yeah, we got the heat map is almost entirely red. People are still bullish. Here, let's click bearish. Let's just mess with them. Nah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Wow, what the hell? LPCN is only up 1,400% today. There's always a bull market somewhere. Jesus Christ. Biotech, of course it is. Anyway, we don't care about that. Let's go to the rundown list. Let's start with Mama Bear like we usually do. We are getting some follow through from the Bears after Hump Day's close. This little doji, big doji that did make that lower break into the 26. And that's what we were watching. If we lost 27,000, we'd probably start selling off a little bit more. And here we are at about 26.3. It's probably wants to come down and test over here. Now that we've kind of engaged below this range, that was kind of that is the setup. Still the same setup from this consolidation. It is just the first day to open and close below it, so that is kind of interesting. We'll see if we get a full-on open and close below this range. If that were to happen today, we'd be looking for probably that 24 test in this little cluster right here. So not like super surprising. Finally, we're getting out of the range, so that's cool. That makes it different than just being trapped in this freaking 27 to 29 for, however many days this has been. How many? Let's see. 55 days roughly. But yeah, I'll be curious to see if this does open and close below that 27,000. If that were to happen, then that engages this 24,000 test. And we do have the weekend coming up, which usually doesn't have much price action. So it'd be kind of interesting to see what happens over the next few days. Let's see if we're getting it on futures. Yeah, futures in the same kind of spot, open and closing below range. The one thing that isn't doing that is Ethereum. Ethereum is actually holding. Oh, wow, look at that. Bounced right off the little horizontal here in the 1740s. That was equivalent to Bitcoin's 27,000. So it's interesting that Ethereum's actually, the bulls are defending that level, and it's not really below that entire structure from March. It is below like this intermediate type structure right here, but just a slight different pattern than Bitcoin does. And to be Fair, we're kind of already testing this little tops of the beginning of the year, which is pretty much about that mid 1700s, so about 1740 ish. So that's kind of interesting that we're already getting a little bit of relief off of that. Let's zoom in a tad. Yeah, no follow through on this one that just closed a couple hours ago. So, all right. So we're kind of just barely coming down to test the horizontals. Bitcoin is also testing it. Maybe it reacts this way, in the next 6 hours or so. We'll have to see. But interesting so far. Bears trying to creep in with the Momo here. Let's see. Yeah, they're trying to gain the Momo back, it looks like. Will they be successful? If they do get back below 1740, I would look for somewhere in this cluster. And the next horizontal is all the way down at just shy of 1600. So, which is also where the trend line is, that this has been well respecting since, late last year. So that might be an interesting little dippity doo-dah buy there. Ethereum futures showing the same thing, just kind of nothing different there. Wow, look at this. This is the target for Litecoin was in the lower mid 70s. Looks like we're getting a little bit of relief off of it from Monday's candle, just kind of lollygagging right underneath the 200. Man, this thing does look a little bit heavy below 83-ish dollars. It is making a higher low technically still, but we have lost the higher high structure so far from this one to this one. Now bull's got a lot of work to do. And you can see the magenta candle of death that killed this whole range and camped on the bottom of the range underneath the 21s and back under the trend line. False breakout turning into fast moves in the opposite direction, which we're pretty much already at the other side of range now. So it's pretty important reactions that we're going to get from price after breaking down some of these ranges. I'm curious to see if all these altcoins are going to look the same too. All the other shit coins, I should say. Let's see here. ETH Classic, yeah, just kind of selling. Jeez, let's zoom out a little bit here. Man, this one looks the worst. It's like one of the worst. Like the week, you do have the support right beneath it at about like $17 flat. But I mean, these EMAs are all stretched down to the downside now. I mean, higher lows and higher highs, I guess, technically still. So this is, again, showing the line in the sand. We are pretty much approaching it for the bulls. If they don't start defending here within probably about, what is this, like 10% or so of this level at about 17 flat, man, we broke that down. We'd probably come down to 14, 13, somewhere like in the mid-teens, and they have to reassess. There is really mega support, though, at like 1,700. I'm sorry. Whoa, 1,700. No, $17. Surprisingly, we got Ripple Me Nipples garlic bread still hanging out over here right on the 200. It has not broken down or further broken down from Monday's candle, so it's just been hovering that 42-cent level, as we talked about earlier in the week and previously. 42 cents, powerful meme support right there. And we're in between the long and short-term moving averages. Bears are trying to gain dominance right now on the DMI, so that's noteworthy. Let's zoom out a little bit. Kind of even high here, but we are incrementally making higher lows still. Sub 42, that could open doors all the way to about like 37 cents, and then hopefully bulls will defend there, unless you're really bearish and you want it to break that. But 42, then we probably get like 36-ish, and then we'll have to reassess. That's like a real big cluster zone for, I mean, you can see a lot of business down there in the mid-30s. All this business right here is in the mid-30s. So XLM, let's see. It's already kind of in the mid-range, just hanging out. Man, one could argue this could be a buy the dip moment right here. I think you can make a pretty strong case for that. I was talking about on Wednesday, nibbling some stuff. I haven't executed that yet. I'm just being real patient. The longer I've traded, the longer term time frames, I kind of am just like these crack time frames and all that. It's just a little too stressful, and so I don't have problems sitting on my hands for a little bit and waiting. Patience is, I think, very important in the trading game. Sometimes you have to just do nothing, or just kind of wait till price gets to like your range. And I think we're kind of there right now because we're just like right on the edge of breaking down. And so, risk to reward wise, you can stop out at a lot of these levels that we're testing right now, and they're pretty much real close to where we already are. Like this one is interesting too. Look at this, hovering above that 6.666, the triple sixes. Still looks okay. I mean, this looks just like a liquidation break from an attempted breakout, kind of confirming this 67666 area. So as long as we're above that, this is actually one of the better looking charts right now, which is Tron. We still hovering above all this. Our target is all the way up here around 10 cents and a little bit past that if bulls wanted to get crazy, but one of the better looking charts still. Oh, this one doesn't look good. So this one is actually getting below this swing low. There is this little cluster of business looking left though. So let's zoom out. Man. Yeah, below all this though, it does look pretty damn heavy. Below like 585-ish. Let's see. Let's look more. But man, yeah, look at all this cluster before this huge launch back in late 2020. So there's a lot of support in the 5 handle in general. So this is kind of an interesting spot in the same vein of what I was just talking about a second ago, that, this could be a interesting buy the dip section here. Because even let's say you lost, $5, you can see all this business right here. And even if you took it to this swing low, it's about 18%. So that's not too bad. I wouldn't take it that far if I entered this trade. For me, I'd be more comfortable with right about here at about 490-ish. So hell, that's barely 30 cents away from here. So that's interesting. ADA, what are you doing, Charles? Charles is right. Yeah, like here's another example. Look at this right here on the 200, right on the trend line. I mean, this I would just stop out pretty much right here at 34.2 because you have to put meme power and everything. So that's only 4% here. And if this rallies hard off this trend line, I mean, you're talking 10 to 12 to all the way up to 25. So that's pretty good RR right there. And you don't always get the opportunity to re-enter in good spots like that. And if you do, they're usually pretty short-lived. I would not be surprised to see the bulls come in out of nowhere and pump this pretty hard. Maybe just to tops of ranges again, because it looks like we're just range-bound for into perpetuity right now. And that's also on traditional markets too. Although Rut is finally kind of breaking down today. We'll get to that here in a few moments. Oh, look, Link is still sideways as hell. But also in range trading mode, that Link has been in for a long time. I mean, you're starting to get into that lower quarter, lower third of the area where you might want to consider nibbling on ranges. That's kind of how I play ranges. I like to buy that bottom third or that bottom quarter, and then just look for about a retest into that middle quarter or middle third. Yeah, sometimes you can hold a little bit for that upper part, but I don't like to get too greedy with the ranges because they can break out at any moment. Now this one's been trapped in it for a year now, so it's only going to be range bound forever now. EOS, dang. Oh, sorry, I was about to sneeze. It was like one of those. I wish I did. I hate when you like almost sneeze and then you don't. Oh, that's what just happened. It's like burns your nose. Anyway, this is kind of EOS looks kind of nasty, and to be fair, it's gonna look shitty for a long time. I mean, even when all the pumping was happening earlier this year, it like did a little bit, but didn't even get over the mama or really break any structure. Still making lower lows, lower highs. Let's zoom out a little bit, man. Wow. Well, Dan Larimer, this is looking pretty bad. But if you got some balls, this one's a little bit more risky, I think, than like ADA. But kind of in that same theme where we're right up against major support levels and kind of the line in the sand. And I mean, this is like 3 to 7% risk right here. And I know it looks crazy, and there's not much oscillators or anything that are saying that this is a good buy. Most of them, in fact, are extremely bearish, especially on this one. But you don't see also this is the forgotten zone, I call it, below 10 on the DMI indicator, and you don't see stuff get down here around 5 and in the single digits very often. It is very rare. You can see the last time that happened is right here in November for a week or two before rallying pretty hard. And let's see what actually that led up to. Yeah, and it was at the very bottom of the range, kind of like we are now, even testing a little bit slightly lower. And then it had a little relief rally, liquidation, and then ended up actually going into a pretty good rally there. And then let's see, the last time we saw this was probably back over here, it looks like. Yeah, in May into June of last year. And that didn't relieve anything. That just kept dying slowly. Let's go look at yeah, you can see when they try to get into the neutral zone. So this is the weak zone between 10 and 16, neutrals between 16 and 26. Power is above 26 in forgotten zone. And that's just kind of what I call, I've just noticed that from DMI, watching it a lot. It's definitely one of my favorite Momo indicators. But yeah, you can see even when it tried to get up and they tried to get into the neutral zone, they were quickly rejected and went right back into the weak zone for more selling. You know, if we look at it again, when it finally did gain some stability in the neutral zone here in mid-July, you can see that was also getting above range and led to a pretty good pump. I'm just kind of sidetracking here on the DMI readings a little bit. But so we're kind of in that same little vein right here. This is at an extreme level. And even outside indicators, price action trumps everything. And just looking left, you can see there's definitely some decent support right here. But we are knocking on the door for the black hole. That's for sure. All right. Gave it all up. This was exit pump nation, I guess. It looked really good on Wednesday. And it just gave it all back up already. So, including BSV, which did the same thing. Still a lot of volume. I still kind of like this, though, with all that volume in this pump, as long as bulls defend this 110 area, kind of coinciding with all this business and this little swing low. Pretty interesting, because that was a little different than most of the shit coins here. So, I know it's right outside of this, and it's looking a little nasty. But if bulls can defend that 110 area, might be an interesting spot. Pump Nation right here. What was that? 41%. Giving up a lot of it there. It's probably still at a 618 though. Yeah, it's right on it. There you go, 618. So as long as it's kind of holding this level again at like 33 handle, you know, you could make a decent argument that this could be momentum shifting, especially when you get one candle like this taking out every single moving average. I mean, it even has the 200 in it. So that's pretty interesting. That is noteworthy. And as long as this is above like 33-ish, you know, this could be, what's a deep retrace on this? Let's look real fast. So a deep retrace is actually all the way down here around 31 handle. And a deep retrace would be like 7-8. Here, let me just show y'all. Deep retraces are like the 786 and the 886. A lot of times bears will try to, or bulls if it's flipped around, but in this instance for bears, they'll try to get in here. And then once they get to here, they usually will get rejected. And I know sometimes it's like, it's either one of these lines above 38, 382 is like fully intact momentum on that side. Like if we were staying above like $38 after this pump, that would have been uber super bullish. And then the next chance here is, oh look, it's 34.20. Of course it is. And you got the mama right here. So I do kind of like this at the 618. And then below the 618, you get the deepest retrace. And if you breach the 886 pretty much, then that's Momo off. for the bulls in this instance. All right, let's see. XR, I'm sorry, XMR, not XRP. We're still barely hanging into this magenta candle right on the trend line. I mean, in that same vein as some of these other coins, I mean, we're talking real low risk to rewards here. Like, because if bulls decide to come up here in the next week or by the end of this month, I mean, this thing could easily pop up to this top of range and possibly beyond. And right here, I mean, if you use this trend line, it's literally only like less than 2% away. How I would use this, I would kind of go to at least the bottoms of this price action. And you got this other magenta candle in here too. So I'd be looking for probably about 5 or so percent risk on this. And again, when do you get to enter in at 5% risks, single digit risks on crypto? That's not all the time. So Zcash, womp womp womp. This one has looked terrible for a long time. Even in the rally, I mean, this just can't get nothing going. Look at this weekly, just worked by the 21. We do have major support at $29 though. And again, in that same vein, just looking left, oscillators definitely suck. I mean, you can see, look at this. DMI has been dominant around 26 since June of last year, and it's been selling off since then. But here we are now at the very bottom edge of range, all the way back to its inception in 2016. And you can see why I have this horizontal drawn here in the upper 20s, because it has been pump time off of that a few times. Yes, it did breach below it a couple times, like right here in a little tail. That could be bad data too. We don't know. This one looks more natural. That happens a lot in crypto. You get some bad data, bad tickers. I don't see anything in the chat. I know someone told me yesterday that the chat, or on Wednesday, that the chat was messing up. So I'm not sure if people were in there. If you are, I can't see any messages at this moment, but I'm almost going to have to start like a Discord or Telegram to do on the side just so we can kind of circumvent shitty issues like that. So I'm probably going to do that with a Telegram here shortly. And also just to have kind of something that isn't just in the trading view realm, because when they ban me, I can't talk to anybody. But anyway, in that same vein, looking left, you got major support here in the 29 handle. And how many percent is that from here? About 10, about 10-ish percent. So a little bit less than that. Pretty interesting spot. And these are hard buys to make too, because it just looks so bad. Some of those are the best ones though. And this one also, lots of looking left business here. We're pretty much at that line at the moment, attempting to break it. The bears are at about $39. So we are pretty much at that. I think we used to get anywhere below 39 flat. Let's even zoom in to crack time frames. Let's check this out. Zoom, 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 back out. Here we go. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, let's go a little further. You can see only for a second. We got a few, what is that? About a week or two before rallying out. Okay, so yeah, even an open and close on a 3-hour shorter time frames below $39 probably wants to go test here. But again, we're at this level here where we're just deep retraced. What is that? It's about 15% to this cluster. Not quite as good as some of the other ones, but Doge. Oh no. Hasn't really done much since Wednesday's stream. Just kind of lollygagging on these lows. The last line of sand in this is 666, devil's number. The devil's lettuce. If we break 666, I mean, maybe you could argue for like mid fives, like 5.5 cents, because you got a lot of little clusters here and this little cluster here for a month or two. Outside of that, though, man, below 6.65, like mid fives, but that starts to look real nasty overall. And let's see, what is this right here? Even getting below 7 cents probably opens that door to the sixes, to the triple sixes. So, not looking super great, y'all. STX barely holding on as well, just getting worked right in the middle of both of these moving averages. This is I hate taking trades on structure like this. The best thing though is outside of all the EMAs is the same thing looking left. Above like mid 50s, it looks okay. Sub mid 50s though. I mean, I think minimum probably like upper mid to upper 40s on this if that were to happen. But if bulls defend this and we kind of just go sideways and start just breaching above this trend line and getting comfy back above 69 cents, and hell yeah, that would actually look pretty good. But we're in like hurry up and wait mode. True Fi is just not true to anything except for dump power. Let's see how far this is retraced. Oh, where it looks like we're heading for those 786, which is right around here at about 4 pennies. Below 4 pennies looks pretty nasty. This one does not look good. Just pump and dump here. Pump and dump. Brutal. Above 4 cents, okay. Below 4 cents, man, we probably go to like 3 cents and maybe even further. I mean, look, the one thing that is interesting about this is there's no volume on a lot of this selling pressure. So that's noteworthy. Look at how low this volume is. We got high pump volume. We got a lot of participation in a lot of these moves. And it's not just Radix here, but a lot of stuff from, earlier in the year and especially that April move. And then the selling pressure, we're just not really getting that much at all. Man, we got deep retrace here at 69. What's up with this? The memes, man. The meme numbers. 6.9 here again. Major support at 69. So, we were talking about that on Wednesday, that this actually is like an interesting spot here. And now it's a little bit more interesting at a 5% discount, right pretty much on the line in the sand of where bulls should be defending. But anything below pretty much where we're at here at 69 opens up the doors to the 5 handle. Hexagons. Pulse chain is going to be launching soon, I believe. I saw something come across some feeds and chat rooms. You can see too, there's something going on. Look at this volume spike that we saw yesterday. And this looks like it's attempting to break out range. This actually looks pretty good above 5 cents. And if they are about to launch Pulse Chain and do all that shit, finally, it's been like 2 years or something. That could get a lot of hype for Hex Coin. So something to watch there. And getting above about, what do we got here? 7.5 pennies would start to look real good on that. V-Chain, deep retrace, brutal. Yeah, and look at this, tapering volume since these pumps, just like not much participation except for just that slow bleed. We are in the line of the sand here before this little dump cluster right here. And pretty much anything back below about 1.8. Man, that goes all the way to 1.5 and maybe below. So bulls, again, the same theme is across the board here. We're like we're right on the edge of pretty much just falling out to the next range areas. Adam actually finding some support here at the close of Wednesday. That's interesting. If Adam can get it back above 1120 for a couple of days, open and close above there on this daily, that would actually look pretty damn good. And I would be looking for like a test up into this magenta candle around low 12s. Okay, so this is a little bit different than other stuff. And you can see bears getting rejected from the power zone as well. So that's actually interesting. That's a little bit different. And I like that it's happening too around this trend line cross area. That is interesting. Let's zoom out a little bit to the weekly. Test and range, higher high, or not higher high, sorry. Just nice bounce. Higher lows, almost higher highs. They're kind of in this little symmetrical triangle right here. Interesting. And we are pretty much at the apex, so all right. Yeah, I think we were talking about this on Wednesday. If we get that candle to close up, and some of the structures back into range, that would actually be pretty good. And I actually kind of like this above 1060 on Atom. Osmos, though, is not doing that. It's gone into black hole mode, and it's dying, and it's going to zero. So there you go. No, I'm just kidding. Well, it might be, but I don't know. Damn, yeah, below 69 cents. That was that line in the sand on Monday. We got pretty much open and close below that, and we're just getting continuation. Is this like a epic stretch of a bump and run pattern? I don't know. That's that's kind of a lot. Oh, where are my horizontals here? Put some of those on there. Well, maybe. Didn't want to do my top one. I can't put one at 26. There we go. Yeah, there is full dominance right here by the Bears. And below 69 cents, it's hard to kind of even get bullish on this one because there's no structure. It's literally in black hole mode now. So black hole mode, it's pretty much price discovery, but to the downside. Yay. Below 69, not great. Ton. Oh no. Oh, look at you, Ton. Telegram distribution on that ass. When you got them lower highs and you got this trend line, man, we are getting that selling pressure today, kind of across the board on everything, which we're about to get to in traditional markets too. Pretty nasty. Let's see. We do have some good support right here though, right about where it is. How odd. The same theme. Right close to the mama. Wow, and right on the 55 EMA, which has barely been able to print the last couple of weeks. And so there's actually pretty good support right here. Looking at structure in the about the 160s, the upper 160s actually has decent support. We'll see what the reaction is today at the close. In here about 5 hours. If this thing can get back above like 185, 190 ish, that would actually look pretty decent for a defense for the Bulls there. All right, let's go to majors. Oh, look, they ain't doing shit. Now, this is one thing that's crazy. I talked about this earlier. You don't get price action in between the magenta candle like this for usually it's very short lived. I can't even remember the last time that this happened on ES. Here's one right here at the top and just rolled over. Here's one and it dumped and went right back above it. Yeah, so this is kind of interesting. Just mega consolidation. And like we've talked about for um, a while now, that the moves coming out of this compression are going to be massive. So there's going to be opportunity, that's for sure. And it looks like it's trying to come out now and break some ranges. We are getting VIX above. VVIX is above. Whoa, is above 100 now. I didn't see that earlier. We'll go look at that here in a second. But I mean, 40, 80, and 4,200. That's it. That's range until it breaks out of there. I can't really even get bullish or bearish. It's just neutral as hell between 40, 80, and 4,200. And we've talked about that a lot on the stream. With the monthlies, with that 4,200 resistance is very real. And you can see here, all these bodies were literally at the same price we were a year ago now. Pretty interesting. If we go to the weekly, how's the weekly shaping up? Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Why aren't the Bulls doing anything is my question. They should be getting some follow through, and they're not doing shit. Below 40.80 on this, I would be on another test because we've had two defenses so far. Third time's the charm, though. If we did hit it again, I would think that we'd go into this cluster, around the 3,900 handle. And that's the macro, like 24,000 for Bitcoin or 25K. You could say 3,900 as long as we're above that, it's okay for macro. But you start getting comfy below 3,900 on ES, ooh, watch a lay. NQ, oh snap! Look at this. NQ actually broke out on Wednesday's candle on the close. A little kind of indecision a little bit, and then coming back to test 13.3. That's interesting. Okay. That's actually really constructive for Bulls. There is no momentum on their side yet, though. I mean, we got neutral RSI and very neutral DMI. But price action alone, hey, that looks pretty good. See if weekly is kind of lame. That's super doji time, but hey, man, we got the 21 in chronological order here on all the EMAs. We're starting to point up. I mean, you can't really hate on that too much. And, if we want crypto to rally pretty hard, we probably are going to need traditional markets to go along with it. That's been the case for a long time with crypto. It's very highly correlated to traditional markets. Unfortunately, I know that's not something that people like to hear, but it is just what it is. But above 13.3, man, this actually is pretty good. Let's see how they can close this weekly out. And by they, I mean the Bulls. Not too great here. We are below this range now. We're between the 32.8 and the 33.5 range, right in the middle of it. Let's ratchet up a little to the top. Ooh, yeah, I mean, we're barely holding on to the 21 and the 55. I mean, and we are kind of making incrementally lower highs right here. So that's a little bit concerning. Not looking as good as, say, NASDAQ. Um, but man, tough spot here between the short and the long-term EMAs. Uh, this one has just been respecting these horizontal ranges so well that I'm just kind of trading them when they get into the range. And I actually don't even trade Dow that much. I mostly trade Russell every once in a while. Oh, look, Russell is finally getting a little bit pressure to the downside. We're under 13. We're under 1740. That has been the area where bulls have stepped in numerous times on this price structure. We're just getting worked by the 21. I mean, this thing has looked bad for a while. We've been talking about it for a hot minute, how shitty it looks, especially relative to the other majors. And is the weekly going to close below this little swing low in this cluster at about 1740? So far, it looks like it. We only got 2 hours left for the daily close and the weekly close. So bulls will have to defend the shit out of this soon. Again, no Momo on any of the oscillators either, even though it looks pretty nasty for the rut. Pretty confused market. The rut's all down. NASDAQ's trying to break out. Like, Dow is just sideways as hell. Let's see here. The trannies are just kind of going sideways in this real long consolidation, kind of in this little falling wedge sort of pattern. Loses 13.4. Watch out. But right now we're just kind of battling at this middle of this range here, and there's lots of trend line crosses, lots of business looking left. So let's see here. DAX still sideways, kind of looking a lot like the NASDAQ, just hovering right around the major upper end of resistance and price structure. So still sideways as hell. Also, no Momo. And again, that bodes well to what I was saying about the moves coming out of this consolidation are going to be so big and violent, like no doubt, man. And we don't have the Momo anywhere on most of these tradables, so that's interesting. China giving it all back up. Looks like we're back inside of the box. Yep, another false breakout. Double false breakouts. That's kind of crazy. Probably coming to test other side of range at some point. Now, could you argue this is maybe going to be a higher low? Yeah, you definitely could. If they defend 32.50, then possibly could be pretty good. But man, lots of resistance though in that upper 3300s. VIX clustering. Look at this cluster F down here. Usually you get some big moves out of VIX when it clusters like this. The problem is I've seen VIX cluster for a year straight. So if y'all remember 2017, that was a great example of that. This is actually the more concerning thing. This chart has looked really bullish this week with how the EMAs are structured. I love when they're stacked up on top of each other like this, real close and tight, and they're just starting to open up. So this is kind of going in the bearish camp right here for sure. And if you watch the show a lot, we talk about VVIX and at 100 being the threshold. Whenever you get over 100 on VVIX, you do have to watch out because the bears can come in with a swiftness and wreck shit up. So we are getting to that zone right now. Let's see where the weekly is. Yeah. Okay. So the weekly looks like it's trying to close above there. We do have an hour, almost 2 hours left. So a lot can happen in those 2 hours, but this is building a very bullish chart, no doubt, which means bears are gaining. I know it's kind of confusing for VIX. But getting a little cluster too on this trend line here. Yeah, the VVIX is the one that I'm really watching here. This one's very interesting, and I'll be very curious to see how this closes at the end of the day. Not a surprise getting rejection from coming back up into the box, the blue box of range, and also right there at the 21 getting rejected, coming back out of it. Pretty standard for the first attempt. Usually on the first attempt, you don't get follow through. Sometimes you do. Usually not, though. And as long as this is holding above this hammer candle at about 69, upper 68s, it's okay. Below that, though, man, oil could go freaking to low 60s. That would be kind of crazy. That'd be good for gas, though. Hell, I'll take some $250 gallon gas. I know some of y'all probably hate me. They're like, "What, 250? It's never going that low." Well, I'm down in Texas, so you know, gas is generally cheaper here than it is in most places. Oh, nat gas still hovering. Look at this, making little incremental higher lows and very incremental higher highs. This is still interesting as hell to me. This is the best that nat gas has looked for the bullish side in a long time, pretty much all the way back to last fall. And if you pull up the DMI, where the bears are trying to get in here and regain their dominance because they've been dominant for a long time on the daily, but you can see here the bulls are gaining dominance and the bears are trying to take them out, but they're getting rejected here. So this is pretty interesting. There will be a good trade here to the long side, and I'm wondering if we're actually coming up on it right now. This is a interesting spot here. What's the risk to this? Yeah, it's only like 4.5% risk on that. Very interesting. Bonds sideways as hell. Not interesting. Just freaking cluster F, dude. I mean, just until it's out of this range right here, this funky flaggish box flag. I don't know what the hell this is, but it's just sideways as hell and frustrating everybody that it's not doing anything. And that makes sense with the Fed maybe keeping rates going up. At least they said until the end of this year. So hell, that's another 6-7 months. Notes. Let's just skip down over here to. Oh, look at this. This is different. All right, so dollar's trying to break out here from this consolidation. Interesting. All right, so we're getting a little bit of dollar pressure. So the last time that happened up here, let's look at this, February. So the beginning of February, let's jump back over to the ES real fast. The beginning of February, usually when you get some rallies like that in the dollar, that does bring in the downside pressure, which we did see here. Did that carry over to Bitty Bitcoins as well? I believe it did. Let's see. Not as much. Kind of just mostly just went sideways. Actually, it did have a little bit of downside pressure, but that was all the way into March. So that is noteworthy. So extreme noteworthy things here. Two of them. VVIX getting over 100 and the dollar attempting a breakout right now. And it's literally, if it closes above 102, we do have it open and close above all this range. So that's pretty significant price action for the dollar. Interesting. Let's ratchet up to the weekly. Okay. Yep. Mega resistance at the top of this box at 103.80-ish. But very interesting. We start getting some pumping in the dollar, man. That's going to put some pressure on markets, no doubt. And with the VVIX doing what it's doing too, very interesting. Euro's backing off as expected, as it would. Man, precious metals, ouch. No wonder. So we get precious metals are dumping really hard. Dollars rallying really hard. Interesting. There's a shift going on right now. That's good. Thank God. Let's break out of these ranges and shit. Let's do something. So that's a good sign, y'all. We are getting close. It does seem like the month of May will be a resolution month here. All right, gold. Getting a little sell pressure. Still looks okay above 2,000. Kind of a weak attempt here, but above 2K looks pretty good. Let's go to the weekly. Yeah, kind of just clustering up here. I mean, I don't want to overthink this. Above like the 1990s and the 2000 area pretty much looks fine. We start losing though, like 1990, and we do a few open and closes on dailies below 1990. I would probably look for at least mid low 90 test. And the next line in the sand for this is all the way down at like 1880s. Silver, look at this. Silver literally dump fest yesterday. Ouch. Almost 5% down. Look where it's getting bid up though. Right around 24.20. It's actually literally exactly the price we're at right now. So it went a little bit deeper to 23.90 or so, which is right in the middle of all this business. And the bulls right now are attempting to defend the 24.20 area, which is super important. Y'all know we've talked about it on the show too many times. Pretty interesting though. This does candle. My God, what is wrong with my English? Jesus Christ, sorry. This candle does kind of suck below engulfing all this range. So now I'm going to kind of treat this as ranging between like 24.20 in the middle of this business at 25.20. So in that little dollar range, you could argue that the Momo is a little bit soft now on silver. And until we got and reclaimed back above 25.20, it's kind of neutral now. So let's look at the weekly. Yeah, I mean, this could easily be a test too of these. I mean, look at this breakout on the weekly. What we don't want to see is that daily getting comfortable below that 24.20 area and start camping below that, and then this turn into a false breakout. Because if that happens and we start losing 24.20 comfortably and get back below this, I mean, we're talking, all the way down to 22 handle would be the next major support on this structure. So yeah, we're getting some range breaks, guys. It's happening. Finally. Platinum. What are you doing here? Nice pump. Kind of just clustering up here at the top. Nothing too crazy. Getting a little pressure from that dollar, so that dollar pressure is definitely carrying over to metals right now. Yeah, nothing too crazy. As long as it's still holding like 1040, 1050, it's okay. This one, not a higher high. So that's a little weak sauce there by the bulls. Why couldn't you get a little higher high? You came within freaking $20 of it, less than, and you couldn't do it. That kind of sucks for the bulls. Maybe they need a recharge for one more attempt. Back below like 1470 though, I'd start to question this move. So far it's okay, but back below 1470, it's like, meh, not too great. GDX, yep, of course we're getting some dumpage. Still fine above like 3250 though. And then also same here, and this has got the trend line with this gap at about $39. Let's go look at blockchain stuff. Oh, damn, sorry if that came through. I thought I hit the button. Maybe I didn't. My allergies have been kicking my ass today. Looks like they did. Oh, God. Sorry, Silvergate. Oh, yeah, I guess it's been delisted or went to penny stock mode. I don't know what happened, but it's freaking dead. Look, it's only down 98.98%. Ouch. Scammers be scamming. All right, let's go down here to... Hello, Hamid. How are you doing? Good to see you. Oh, I guess I got a reset on my... Oh, yeah, I just saw the disconnection notice. What the hell? What's going on, bud? Hope you're doing awesome. Let me know if you want to look at any tickers specifically. We can do that here shortly because I will be signing off here momentarily. Oh, we're losing it. This doesn't look good for bitty bits for Bitcoin. This 325, 330 area was kind of that line we were looking for. It looks like we breached it yesterday, and we're getting follow through now. Let's ratchet up to the weekly. Right on the 21. So you could argue this is kind of the line in the sand here. We start getting comfy, man, below 300. That's not going to bode well for crypto, y'all. That's for sure. Cores is actually going up today. That's interesting. Oh, do they have earnings come out? I guess it's after the close today. They have earnings. So that kind of sucks after the close on Friday. All right. I think that's probably it for today. I don't see any tickers in the troll box. Just kind of lollygag around for a second while maybe that goes through the airwaves. Man, yeah, look at this. Look at this, y'all. Uh-oh. Regional banks right on the edge, too, of breaking down. Ooh. Watch a lay. Watch a lay. This doesn't look good, y'all. This banking thing does not look done. This chart is saying it's not done yet. You know, it's with the Russell and how these regional bank ETFs look, man, it didn't look sexy. I'll tell you that. We lose a little bit more, like we were talking about Wednesday. We lose that 3180 again, or on KRE, we pretty much are attempting to lose it now. That 36, we're like hovering right on it. Man, you can see the Bears have full dominance too on this, continued dominance all the way through the beginning of March. So pretty nasty, man. Pretty nasty. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything. I mean, we got a little bit of energy pumping. Nothing too crazy, though. Oh, what the hell? No, I don't want to do that. No. Don't want to import a list. Let's see some stocks. Oh my God, Apple's even down today. That never happens. Microsoft's even down. Man, like everything is pretty much down. Interesting. The Bears are making themselves known the last couple of days, that's for sure. Let's go look at the bondage market. HYG kind of looking nasty. Man, this looks more like distribution right here. Whew. Ouch. Let's go look at municipals. Let's zoom out too a little bit, make this chart a little cleaner. We don't need this trend line. That is useless. Yes, remove. Man, test the Corona lows, kind of just lollygagging. Someone could call this an inverted head and shoulders for sure. Should have kind of broke out already, though, the last couple of weeks. Just sideways as hell. Interesting. Yeah, nothing really new. That's the thing, man. We just been going sideways for so long on almost like most tradables. It's just kind of frustrating. But it does look like we are getting outside of that those ranges on some stuff. Let's go look at meme stocks. Hood, Nokia, yeah, everything just getting sell pressure, man. All right, let's wrap this biatch up. Mama Bear, you're knocking on the door for the Bears. I mean, we got a lot of support right here on this weekly. We talked about this earlier in the week. You got the 200, the 55 almost exactly, the 21 right below it at 25 too. And then obviously the macro 24,000, just that whole number is mega support. And as long as we're above that, I can't really get bearish on Bitcoin, especially because every time frame is bullish right now, up to a monthly. And so the only way that I would change that tone is if a weekly open and closed below the 21 EMA. And so that's literally going to take at least 2 more weeks for that to even try to happen, maybe 3 even. So, we got plenty of time. And off where this price is, though, I do like that we're kind of hovering on the lows on the weekly, right on top of the 21 EMA. That's pretty good. Let's see if Ethereum's doing the same thing, because it actually looks a little bit stronger than Bitcoin does right now. Yeah, right, also on top of the 21, which is coinciding with that 1740-ish area. And we still got Momo on the weekly for unicorn shirt, man. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, the worst candle setup on this is just this magenta candle, and then the attempt to get into it and the immediate rejection. That's like the worst part of the structure, also right at 2K. But look where we're at. We're just on the bottom end of this range, and we already are getting a little love from the bulls defending that. So as long as we're above here, it looks okay. We get below 1740. That opens up the trap door to upper 1500s, and we'll have to reassess then. But right now, I do kind of feel like I felt like this on Wednesday's stream too, but I was like, no, let's just wait another day or two. Let's see how the week closes out. But I am kind of wanting to do a little bit of nibbling on some of this selling pressure. So let's see how this weekend plays out. I usually like to wait until Saturday because sometimes Saturday you get like little flush moves later in the afternoon. So I'm going to kind of wait, I think, until then and see how all these dailies close and see how the weeklies close up on futures and all that kind of stuff because we definitely are getting some selling pressure. And with the dollar and VVIX doing what they're doing, I think that's noteworthy to just be a little bit more patient. And we'll just kind of have to wait and see what happens next week because there are some things that are a little bit concerning for bulls overall. And that would mostly be this dollar chart breaking out and also VVIX getting over 100. And also, you could argue Russell breaking down because Russell is exposed to the regional banks more so than any of the other majors. And it's been showing its weakness for a long time now. And here we are just about to break down one more again. Now, to be fair, bulls have defended this area freaking so many times. Will this just be another one? I will tell you, you got this 21 EMA squeezing against that horizontal, also implying that resolution in some of these patterns is coming soon, probably by the end of the month, is what I'd have to guess. All right, guys, much love. I hope y'all have an awesome weekend. Happy Friday. We'll see y'all on Monday morning for the next stream. And until then, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I'll catch y'all later. This has been Z-Rex, No Noiz, signing out. Peace.